This is a video showing how to use categorical variables in MVstats. So I have a table here, but I'd like to use a categorical variable to help predict EUR. So the first thing I need to do is create a categorical variable. So we're going to go to Data Analysis, Well Data Analysis. Now I have to press this little button over here to make sure I have Wellbore interval turned on and Wellbore. And now I want to go to the right hand side and add a new plot. And we're going to go New Correlation Table. So I'm going to make a crude estimation of rock type. I'm going to use resistivity as well as neutron porosity. Now I have a well list that I created in advance, and I would access this well list over here on the right. We're going to filter data source. And I'm going to choose my well list, which is right here. So now we're going to move over to the MVstats tab. And we're going to go to the top right here and go Add Algorithm. And we're going to choose New Hierarchical Classification. Now we have some options here, but I want this to be a very simplistic model. So for maximum number of classes, I'm going to press 4. And then maximum number of subclasses I'm going to leave as 4. And now I'm going to press Compute Model. And if we look over here, we have our 4 classes. And we also have the average values for the log of resistivity as well as neutron porosity. So if you notice, classes 1 and 2 are better quality rock. They have higher porosities and resistivities, and 3 and 4 are lower quality rock. Now we can also click down here just to see how they relate to one another. But what we need to do now is to create these attributes so we can use them in our model. So I'm going to press this little button, U, the U button. I'm going to right click and select all. And you can choose a zone attribute or a well attribute. I'm just going to keep it as a well attribute, and I'm going to call it ABCD rock indicator. Now a very important step here is under property type. We have to make sure this is a rock indicator. Now you can also use county or operator to do a similar workflow, but you would have to trick it into being a rock indicator and a numeric value. So you can either do that in the calculator or upon import. And I'm going to press OK. So now we're going to go back over here to our model. And the first thing I need to do is refresh it so it can see that new attribute I created. So I'm going to press OK. And now this little button here, generate faces for discrete or categorical variables. So I'm going to choose that. I'm going to find my ABCD rock indicator. I'm going to click on that, and I'm going to press Save. Now the next thing that I need to do is I need to drag that over here. So if we type faces on the bottom, I can see that I have the ABCD rock indicator. Now I have to drag that over here to use it in my model. Our next step would be to move over to the MVstats tab. Now I ran this previously, but without the rock indicator. So the first thing I need to do is refresh my model. And I'm going to actually choose this select response attribute. So now what we're trying to do is we're predicting EUR, but we want to model it with faces dependencies. So I'm going to click on this little button. We have our ABCD rock indicator, and we're going to press OK. So now when we rerun our model, you can see there's different colors that are associated with each faces type. So right now we're looking at all faces, but we can go 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now one thing, it can get quite confusing. If you look over here on the left, you can see I've done this a few times, and every time I actually went through and renamed these. If you don't do this, it's all 1s and 2s, and you don't know which one is 1, and it gets very confusing. So in order to change this, we can go back to our rock quality over here. We can go to Faces Assignment, and we can go Open Faces Manager. So now we have our 1. We can call this, good A. We can also change the color if we like. by the lithology colors here. Make it red, I guess. Oh, sorry, we gotta go background color. With 2, we can call this, good B. And I'll just leave the 3 and 4 for the moment. So now if we go back to our model, we can see here, if we refresh it, we can see that they're renamed. So it just allows you to, it's good. It's a good habit to get into because it can get very complicated if you run it a few times. Now, what's really great about this, if we want to look at, for example, spacing, this attribute I have here is spacing, we can click on that, right click, go show in last plot, and it's going to show that individual rock type. But if we click all of them, we can see how each individual rock type is affected by spacing. So you can see the better rocks, they tend to be further out before they're affected. So that's just a quick overview of how to use categorical variables in MVstats.